We represent today the Norfolk Swift response team. We come from Norfolk County Council, and some of our funding comes from the Norfolk County Council. We are a free service. We come out to people in their own homes. That's the main thing that we do. My colleague will explain a little later exactly how we'll help you in your own homes. We try and make contacting as easy as possible. Zena had our 0344 number on the wall earlier, but we've got leaflets with it on. If you want our service, you ring up, you will come through to a hub, a group of ladies that will answer the phone to you. You explain why you need help, and the ladies will then send out the Swift worker, such as Nick here, who will then come into your house and help you with your problems. We have a sister service, which is called Norfolk First Support, and what they do, they are a reablement team. So mainly for people that have been in hospital, but it can be for lots of other reasons. They will send carers in regularly, say morning, evening and lunch if necessary, for 6 weeks until the problem, maybe a broken wrist, broken hip, other problem, gets better. And hopefully at the end of the 6 weeks, they'll be able to manage on their own. If that person can't manage on their own, then they will sort out other forms of care. So back to us, back to Swifts. We cover the whole of Norfolk. We're not a huge organisation, and we only have 2 Swifts per area on duty at a time. We cover Western, Eastern, Southern, Northern. We've just got a new team at North Walsham and Norwich, but we are available 24 hours a day. So if your problem happens, if you need us at night, we're there then as well. As I say, there's no worry of calling us out, we're totally free. And we will make sure if we go to an elderly person, something that Nick would always do would be to put a note in the door so that maybe yourself or another family member would know that they have been and who they are and what they've done for your relative, if need be, or for yourself. We do also do book calls, which means if you need care suddenly, and I'm afraid that's quite often how it happens, that you suddenly need a bit more help, we will come in and support you until your carers are available that are from up the road or whoever, or from a care agency. We'd only do that for a few days, but that might just get you out of a bit of a muddle in the meantime. Does that make sense? But to use that part of the service, I'm afraid you would have to come through your nurse, your social worker, your doctor. Okay. Last year, Swifts across the county had 14,500 referrals. So we had that many calls. And we think that demand is increasing all the time. We've got a new team, like I said, in North Walsham. They are working slightly differently, not ever so different, but just a little bit. And they work more alongside OTs, so that if someone has a fall, not only would our Swifts come, but also an OT would come and see what else they could do for that person. And they say, because they're North Walsham and they're just a smaller area, that they will definitely be with you within an hour. They also have access to physio equipment, so maybe a trolley to put your tea on as you wheel it through, a frame, or a commode. And so far in the last 200 falls, I'm told they've done 200 falls in the last 4 months. They haven't been there long, so obviously the longer a team's there, the more people get to know about it. So that's quite impressive for North Walsham. Every time we come out and help with a fall, if we was to send an ambulance, if an ambulance was to come out, it would cost £250. We only cost £100, for my team to come out. So you can see that by using our service, you're also saving the NHS money as well as their time. I'm going to pass you to my colleague who's going to talk to you about the actual calls that we do. Okay, here we go, Nick.
If I explain first of all that we are an urgent unplanned needs service. So if you ever find yourself in need of some assistance for personal care, for a non-injury fall, we do welfare checks. All you have to do is either press a pendant alarm, which will activate our service, or phone up a telephone number, which we have, and a team will be triaged to you as soon as we can. Obviously, if 2 calls come in at the same time, in the same area, we have to go to the most important and the most pressing call first. So if a fall comes in and a call for some personal care, obviously we have to triage, do the personal care, but we will get to, obviously, all the calls as soon as we possibly can. Some of the calls we do on a regular basis, a lot is non-injury falls. Obviously, we can only go on what we're told by the person with somebody who's fallen or through a pendant alarm. And obviously when we arrive, we have to assess whether there is an injury or not. Mostly there's not, they've just fallen, unable to get up. We've got special lifting equipment where we can get them back onto their feet and up without the need for an ambulance or a paramedic. So it saves obviously the resources of paramedics and the NHS. We also do a lot of personal care. Obviously, people with, caring for somebody with dementia may well have carers come in once or twice a day, but obviously it's not once or twice a day where obviously somebody may need assistance with personal care. So any time after the carers have been, if you need assistance with personal care, obviously you can call us and we'll come and assist with personal care, obviously as and when we can. We also do welfare checks, so we do welfare checks from the police, from doctors, from social workers. So if there's any concerns about anybody, we can go out and assess the situation and report back and obviously access whatever help may be required at that time. We also do new response calls. So if somebody presses their pendant alarm, are we all aware what a pendant alarm is? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if somebody presses a pendant alarm, but there's no response from that person, they may have fallen out of earshot of the alarm box. So if somebody presses their alarm, we'll go by and make sure they haven't fallen and they don't need any assistance. A lot of the time, they'll activate the alarm in error, and obviously everything's fine. But obviously we need to make sure that somebody hasn't fallen and don't need our assistance. We do end-of-life care. So obviously, once again, if somebody needs some assistance and it is a palliative case, we can go by, and obviously we're specially trained to assist in that. Any mental health, once again, we're trained and we're happy to go and do anything to do with sort of any kind of mental health issues. Emergency household tasks. So if somebody is obviously in need of something and they've got no means to contact anybody, any friends or relatives who may help, obviously we can assist in that as well. Our service isn't obviously purely for anybody with dementia, it's for anybody aged 18 or over. But we do obviously have, we deal with people with dementia on a daily basis. So sometimes, obviously we go by, and in my opinion, sometimes the most valuable service we provide is not just for the person who may need assistance with personal care. It may not be just because they're not complying today to go to bed, or they decide they want to sleep on the couch where they should be in bed. A huge part of our job is being there for the carer, for the husband or the wife. Sometimes they need a chat, sometimes they just need a hug, or just a little bit of understanding. So sometimes it's the carer who needs us more than the person, obviously, who needs a bit of personal care or anything else. A lot of our calls come from obviously alarm providers, from the police, from the ambulance service, social workers, from carers. Sometimes a carer will go in, and on this occasion, the person obviously who's suffering from dementia isn't playing ball today. So they sometimes need another pair of hands who can help. Sometimes it's the husband or the wife, more often than not, who needs assistance getting somebody up from bed or to bed. We're here to help in whichever way we can. And even if you phone up and it's not a service we offer, we can normally point you in the right direction. And I think it's very important, if somebody is in need, that there's somebody there 24 hours a day just to talk to. So if in the middle of the night, you're at breaking point, you need somewhere to turn, you phone up and we'll get to you as soon as we can and offer whatever support we can and try and help you in your hour of need. And a lot of people we see on a regular basis. We see them once a month, once a week. But obviously it's not a planned service, but a lot of people we see are friends now as well as sort of service users. So as I said, we're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Can I just come back to the personal care? We also would help if you can normally manage your personal care, but are maybe a bit poorly, maybe got a tummy bug or something nasty, and are therefore struggling to help. The Swifts would also come and help then. They will not be embarrassed, they will not worry about it, they will just come and help you when you need it most. That's what we're all about. We're all about being there for when people need us. But like Nick was saying, we're not just one call. We will come in, but we'll also say, well, could you do with some more help? Could you do maybe with our sister service, Norfolk First Support for a few weeks, carers coming in just for a few weeks, just to make sure you're okay over a difficult patch, or maybe to care, like Nick says, also for people's families. We'll also be there for them. It might be. We also help with falls referrals. So if you had a fall, we'd then put you through to falls referrals, and they would then come and say, why have you had the fall? Is there anything we can do to help, so that you're not calling the Swifts next time because you haven't fallen over. It's all part of our service.
And another thing which we do also is, obviously we're not trained occupational therapists, but we get to see how people live. And if we see somebody struggling to get up from the chair, or if we see somebody who's struggling to get up off the toilet, we can then refer those people to an occupational therapist who may be able to have equipment in place which makes little things like getting off a chair, getting off the bed a lot easier for themselves. And it just makes everything easier all round. The Swifts always work in pairs, so there's always 2 people. And as I said, we're here to help in any way we can.
Any questions, please? Please?
Yes. Is it running all over Norfolk?
Yes. Yeah, shall I go over where we are so that you know? That was on my list somewhere, sorry, because I forget. Right, we've got a Western there in Kings Lynn, so we've got a team that will come out from Kings Lynn. We've got an Eastern team there in Galston, a Southern team that are based in Dereham. Our Norwich team are based in what was the old West Norwich, now the Norwich Community Hospital, and our Northern team in North Walsham. And the nearest team who are available will be sent out.
All right, so there's no one number and that will access anyone?
All the teams, yep, that's right. Anything else?